All right, we are back. This is another edition of your horror news update, where we bring you news in the horror community and this time from the movie community as well. I'm going to bring a lot from the great channel We Watched a Movie, who found these articles, and they have the link to the articles. I couldn't find them in time. One's from Bloody Disgusting, which is a great publication. The first news is the horror community was watching when movies were going to come out as a basis of like how the virus is prolonging the like movies coming out to where like will Halloween Kills come out in October? Well, Candyman and Quiet Place 2 were supposed to come out in June. They have now been pushed back to September. So Halloween is a probably a no go, and that's a big thing. Where would we want to see it on video on demand or not? But the big problem is the theater chain AMC, which everybody kind of has, might be filing for bankruptcy
Mm.
because just in these last 2 or 3 months, without packing the theaters, they lose money quick. So they might file, I think it's chapter 7 or maybe 11, where they can keep their doors open, but they they're doing really bad. And so with these movies as an example being pushed back to September, how many more movies will be pushed back? So one big question, so I'll ask you to start off is, would you be okay paying like the $20 to watch a movie at your house? Or would you rather wait maybe a whole year to see a movie like Halloween in the theater if it's pushed back?
Um, that's a tough question. Um, I don't know. I almost feel like I would rather just like pay the money because I kind of don't want to. I want to see the movie, that's the bottom line is I want to see it, but at the same time I do like the theater experience. But I mean, it could be a couple of years before we go to the movies. I mean, we don't know right now, so I'd just say maybe just like throw a little quarantine Halloween party at home.
That's a good idea. Now I'm going to quote Jay from We Watched the Movie, who brought up that let's say in September they lift quarantine. Yeah, a lot of people are going to flock to the gym to start working out again in the movies, but when you go to the movie theater for the first time and somebody coughs, people are probably going to freak out.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take a while for us to recover, like emotionally, from like, oh, what's going? Oh no! So that's going to put a damper. But you know, the quarantine started in late March,
hmm
and in that time, movie theaters doing so bad they're filing for bankruptcy. I think that's amazing.
Well, I mean, I coughed at Walmart like the other day when I was grabbing some bread. People were so scared of me, they all ran like cockroaches. But
Well, that's the thing in a movie theater. You're literally trapped. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah, that's
nobody's
true.
like Walmart. You're walking around a little bit. Movie theater,
Well,
you know,
I don't really want the quarantine to ruin Halloween or anything for me. So if I have to do stuff at home, I'm gonna do it at home. It doesn't matter. I don't want my holidays wrecked because of some dumb virus.
now,
Um,
have you seen Quiet Place 1?
hmm
Did you like it?
It was okay. I liked bits and pieces.
There was a lot more hype to it when I eventually saw it. Like everybody at first, this is one of the greatest movies. I saw it and I'm like, it's good. Like, like it's a
Yeah,
great
that's
movie.
maybe that's how I felt. Like it wasn't as extravagant as everybody made it out to be.
Yeah, that one, like I said, Candyman was June, and at the end of June was a Quiet Place 2. And I even had me and I tweeted at the guys from We Watched the Movie a
hmm
couple weeks, like a week or two ago, and I
hmm
asked them, "Is Candyman still the bar we're looking at?" And they said, "Yeah, but I think we'll be okay." And Monday is when I got this info from them on their video, and it's like, oh, like
Mm.
we're being pushed back. So we might all be watching the next Halloween in the theater, which is sad because they just fixed the franchise. They got it
Yeah.
back on track. So that's and the fact that the theaters are filing for bankruptcy so quick. Like they even looked at the S&P, all the stocks and all that stuff. I don't know much about that, but
hmm
like there's no way they could even recover if they open right now, and that's amazing. Like because everybody's got an AMC. Like
Yeah, uh that's pretty horrible, but I feel like what's going on right now, a lot of even local businesses are really it's screwing up everything, right now with the virus.
oh yeah,
I don't know why. Okay, like there's local crafting stores where I'm from. They're all closed down. Except for some reason Hobby Lobby and these big corporations, they're essential. And I don't understand why they're
mm,
essential, but the smaller places aren't. So, I mean, do we really need to get some crafting stuff right now? Or, I mean, I guess they give you something to do, but why is all the little ones closed down? But then these big corporations are still rolling?
I can comment on that one.
Okay.
One of the atheist channels I watch, great channel, the Utah Outcast. They're ex-Mormons. They
Mhm.
have a beef with Hobby Lobby because Hobby Lobby, the owners are they're worth billions, and
Mhm.
they were staying open on purpose. And when they just closed, like in the last week, they finally had to submit,
Mhm.
and they're only giving their workers like a week of paid leave, a week or two.
Oh,
So
really?
they literally can pay, but they won't. And like you said, there's no like they weren't essential to begin with. So
Yeah.
it's amazing the steps some of these places are doing. And yeah, the mom and pops are going to be hurt the worst.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing that's kind of got me upset is I like to support smaller businesses and you know, they're they have to close their shit down. Why don't these big fucking places have to close their stuff down too?
yeah, because the big places are going to bounce back a lot quicker once things open. But
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they already got billions and stuff. Like they're fine. These other places
yeah,
aren't, set like that. This is, ruining people's livelihoods right now. And
well, the Hobby Lobby people, and this is not, I'm not going into it. I'm just commenting that the reason the people I'm talking about watch them is because they literally like won't hire homosexuals because of religion, and they're really not good people at heart, and they go this far to like not pay their employees, and it's like
mhm.
what? And you're a hobby place. I've never actually been in one. We have two around here, but I've never been in Hobby Lobby.
And it's just hot. It's just stuff. It's like crafting stuff. I'm a big crafter. I don't really talk about it a lot, but I make a lot of stuff. Um, so I've been there a lot.
My sister worked at a place. It was called Gordon's Emetery, but they were a small crafts place where you build your own reef and that like you're talking about, like you buy the stuff to build decoration. I say decoration. Like I said, they would sell stuff to build your own Christmas wreath or build a model airplane like a craft store, but they were
I
small.
Yeah, I do miniature stuff though. I like miniature stuff.
Max collects and paints small army
Oh,
replicas.
really?
I'm trying to.
I mean, I made like a little Xbox and little games and stuff where like I make stuff like that. I think it's cute, that looks real, but it's little.
Okay, yeah,
That, but it's actually in paper, but I make it look real and I use printouts and stuff. I
right.
don't know. It's just a hobby of mine. It's something I do.
Well, what he does, like he has Civil War replica soldiers, but like
hmm
everything on them is to the T accurate. So just off the top of my head, maybe we could have a Hannah and Max craft show,
Oh,
and
maybe.
y'all could show what's new. And he just showed me some of his stuff, and it's amazing. I can't even see that small. So after like I don't know if you do, but he uses a magnifying glass system and paints the
Oh,
little
I
thing.
don't do anything that fancy. I mean, I make like little cute little like food and like game systems and stuff, and I give them to my son for his toys to play with.
Yeah,
So his toys have stuff. I don't know.
no,
It's for
that's
fun.
awesome.
He loves it. He used to tear the stuff up though when he's little, and I was like, dude, I worked so hard on that. But now he's gotten better about it, and he, you know. He plays those stories or whatever. Five Nights at Freddy's characters and
My youngest, his last birthday party was Five Nights at Freddy themed. He loves that.
oh
But
yeah,
with everything going on and everybody like watching more content, I'm thinking we should talk about a craft show and y'all can show up what y'all doing and give people ideas. But we'll save
maybe.
that. We'll save that and just an idea. So here we go. Here's the next one. Do you remember? And we did a trailer review on this, The Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Right, classic movie. Well, the people who I think wrote and directed the last one are talking about a new one. Now, they said when the quarantine's over and all that,
Hmm.
they're thinking either a sequel, a TV show, or a streaming. Like I say, TV show that could be Netflix. I know that's not like a
Yeah.
sitcom, but so my question would be: is would you one want to see anything sequelized of that movie, and if so, would it be? Would you rather a movie or maybe a like a Hulu Netflix breakdown? Thoughts?
Um, I feel like I would probably rather just like have a movie.
Okay.
And if it's original, like people making it, it will probably have that same like goofy feel to it. Because that was like a movie that wasn't really very scary. It was when I was a little kid, but it's more like just fun, you know. And the Dickies did the music for it, which I think is really
Yeah,
cool because I love the Dickies.
me too.
Um, you like them?
Hmm.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know if it had like the that kind of same dynamic or whatever, then I'd probably like to see a second movie.
There
Maybe a
hasn't been.
series. I don't know. Let's
They
see.
haven't said anything about the what about it. Like,
Yeah,
it's like they might continue the story, or they could just remake that movie and change a couple things. But I'm gonna say personally, I would go with something on Netflix they could stretch out, and it's like,
really.
well, yeah, because you could examine like we that movie never said where they come from or like what was their grand plan, why they look like that, you know,
Are they
like
from
why
outer space?
clowns? Well, so is there a clown planet? You know, like
I don't know. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it as a deep
right?
movie. I just thought of it as like a silly kind of playful movie. The reason why I feel like a series might not be good, I really didn't like the Evil Dead series. I feel like they
Hmm.
should have just did another movie. I feel like I kind of liked it at first, but then I didn't really. I don't know. I feel like it just
No,
didn't.
same
And
here. I
Evil Dead is
saw
something I love. Evil Dead 2 is like my one of my most favorites. So I was just a little bit
um
disappointed, I guess.
the the cousin I mentioned to you when we were messaging. He and I loved the first two Evil Deads, and I watched the first season and the second half of the second season of Ash versus the Living Dead, and it was exactly what I said before when we heard it was coming out. Like you can
Mhm.
only do so much. Like it's gonna get repetitive. Like
Exactly. That's what I feel like
and
the clowns might do too.
right. Well, let me say like if they do something Netflixy where there's more than one episode, like don't do multiple seasons. Just do like 5 episodes of something new and then stop. But if they can cram it in a movie and
Oh, like a
keep
mini
the
series, like the like
right
it or something like the original it, how that
there you
was a
go.
something like
Just like
that.
yeah, like don't continue it after a while. Just do what you got to do. But yeah, if they can cram it in a movie, keep it funny and scary. Cool. Now, fun fact about that. Do you remember the classic, well-known movie series Troll?
Hmm.
The Mask and Killer Clowns were formerly from the movie Troll or Troll 2, and they repainted them.
Really?
No, yeah, some of them, not all of them, but yeah, there's a weird short documentary somewhere. It might not even be out anymore, but they took troll heads from the movie and repainted them, put clown noses, and you can't even tell. But
Wow.
yeah, that's why they look so like extravagant. And me and Max, like if you go watch us talking about it, like in that movie, they make like shadow puppets that eat people and balloon
Hmm.
dogs that come anything that like an invisible car. So that's the cool part where it is goofy, but at its heart, that's kind of spooky. Nobody really clowns are
No,
spooky.
it was like when I was a kid, I was really scared of those clowns. I thought they were really scary. But it was now it's kind of just fun. It's funny, and I watch it with my son and stuff. Like I let him watch it. 'Cause I'm like, he's not gonna be scared. My son is not scared of scary movies. So I mean, he's rooting for Freddy Krueger. He's rooting for the bad guys. He's not scared of the stuff. He loves it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
mine telling me like he's under 10 and like explaining Five Nights at Freddy's to me. Like this is this and that's that, and he knows about it, and that won't scare him. I'm not going to show him like Nightmare on Elm Street or anything, but you're
Mhm.
right. Like, and that's a problem to me where like, oh my God, how do you amp up horror without like you? I don't like torture porn,
Mm-mm.
like Saw, like that's great, but that's not scary. That's just gross. Even Hellraiser, my favorite, can be just gross, but
Oh
it
yeah.
has its
Well,
scary
80s
part.
had like some gruesome, gory, nasty stuff. Like Reanimated, I
Right.
love it, but it's just kind of gross too. There's
But
some grossness.
now all that stuff's been done, so they have to up it. And I think that's why, like, The Conjuring worked, where this is spooky, not gross. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
not a slasher.
Well,
And people love the slashers, but
Five Nights at Freddy's, like I feel like our kids love that. A lot of those characters are really creepy, but they'll be like, "That's my favorite. It's Nightmare Foxy, Nightmare this." It's like they love the Nightmare ones or whatever. So it's almost like it desensitizes their fear. 'Cause I would be scared of that stuff when I was a little kid, to be honest. I was scared of Nightmare Before Christmas when I was a little kid. I mean, I
oh,
was,
I love that movie.
I do too, but it was scary to me when I was a kid.
I saw that in the theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And by the way, my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's is Chica.
Oh, Chica, the little birdie.
Yeah, holds the cupcake because, and that's a good idea, by the way. Like animatronics gonna ride even when they deteriorate.
No, yeah,
They still.
that's pretty cool. They could make a movie of that.
Well, they were supposed to make a movie, and it fell through because of rights. And you ended up the story became the Banana Splits movie.
Did you know the guy that made Five Nights at Freddy's is a Christian guy, and
Mm-mm.
he made like Bible like games and stuff before, but they didn't take off, and he's like, I want to do something different, and then he did Five Nights at Freddy's, and it blew up. Yeah, that's
It
kind of
worked,
I thought that was kind of interesting because it's like a Christian dude that made all that.
but yeah. If anybody looks up the Banana Splits movie, it came out like a year or two ago, which is based on a very old Hanna Barbera
Banana
thing.
Splits like la
Yeah,
da 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 da.
yeah, the movie is the script written for Five Nights at Freddy's, so they just took it, and the Banana Splits movies is animatronics gone awry.
Really, there's a Banana Split movie?
Came out like a year ago, or
I didn't
maybe two by
freaking
now.
I didn't
It's
know
not
about that.
good. It's
Oh,
not good.
it's not
I,
like I liked the old show though. They used to
oh,
play it on Cartoon Network reruns because I'm not that old, but they'd play like the reruns and I would just
well,
watch those.
having been like a kid in the 80s, the reruns from the 60s and 70s were literally reruns at the time.
Hmm.
And that could be scary in and itself. Like
These old
because
shows.
Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza were just hitting it, and you're like, oh, what if these things did come running at you? So I think that's why it works.
Dude, I freaking went Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid and I snuck backstage with all the animatronics and then like me and my brother and our friends and then when the curtains opened we were like dancing with them and stuff and we got in trouble, but like it was crazy. Like we were just like dancing with them, and they're like, "You need to get off of there. It's not safe." Like that was hilarious. Like
Now,
nobody expected that.
I imagine so. Do you remember Showbiz Pizza when I say that?
Not really. I
They
mean,
had a they
I
had
was
a
probably a
bear.
baby. I think I was a baby when that was around. I was only
Well,
born in like 1992, so I don't know.
well, I was just gonna say, it turns out the people from Showbiz Pizza bought Chuck E. Cheese, but kept the Chuck E. Cheese name and logo because
Oh,
they were doing
really?
better. Yeah.
They had animatronics. We have a place called Frontier City out here. It's like our theme park, Frontier City, and it's like
Yeah,
a cowboy kind of like themed
right. That's
theme park.
awesome.
And they had these really cool bears, like animatronics. When I was a kid, they play the banjos, and they'd be like, "Dang, dang, dang," it's like a Frontier City. And they got rid of them because I guess they were like their faces were getting all creepy, kind of. But they got rid of those. I was like pretty sad about it, but they weren't very safe. I don't think anymore. I don't know. They had to get rid of them, but that was kind of part of my childhood. Was always seeing the bears play the banjos.
So a literal Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, they were just they kept getting old and like sometimes they would mess up and their voices would get kind of creepy. Like they were just so old. I feel like they were there since like the 70s or whenever Frontier City came out, and I was like, a little kid in the 90s, and I used to love the Bears, but yeah.
Well, we have one park called Jazzland, and it's been abandoned and run down for years. But fun fact: Disney
Mhm.
World was supposed to be built outside of New Orleans, and they picked Florida instead.
Mm. Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
so
that.
it's it was us and one other place was up for it, and
I
we
mean,
were
yeah,
supposed.
you live in a way like cooler place than me though. You go to New Orleans, you go see all the haunted places. We ain't got that much cool stuff here.
They ain't look unless you're a power drinker, it ain't cool here. Like it's hot and muggy, and the plantation houses aren't near the city, so you can go do all that without being in the city. But
Yeah.
Jazzland was built in the swamp, and I went there before it closed, and then there's drone footage and like the trees overtook it. It's really spooky looking, but no, we don't have anything nice like that. So be happy if you still have. I know there was a Wild West city like in New Jersey, like you're talking about.
Oh,
I've seen
really?
pictures of it. I'd love to see that, but what you're talking about is that still open? Like
Frontier City?
not now, but like
Wait, I mean,
before the
wait.
quarantine.
Oh, Frontier City. Yeah, it was still up and running. I haven't been in years, but yeah, it's still up and running. They do the cowboy show and they have the guys like fake shoot each other. Like it's fun and there's a bunch of scary rides and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Maybe, maybe like in a year, you can if you get to go back, you could film and show us.
Oh yeah, that would be fun. I should do that. Like when things get
Cool.
back to normal. Uh,
Yeah,
There's a
because
ride I don't ride though, the Diamondback. If you have a bad back, you cannot ride that back because like it goes forward and it'll loop and then it goes backwards and it hurts your back and your neck so much. Like I'm like I ain't getting on that shit, dude.
we used to go to Astroworld like every other year, and now I have a bad heart, so I couldn't ride anything anyway.
No, well, you could ride the little things with the little spooky like animatronics.
Oh no, like that I'd be on
You could
that,
do
but
stuff like that
no
because they
big
have one of
rides.
those with like the creepy like evil like Wild West dude or whatever. You can go in there, and then they have like skeletons, pirates, or not pirates, fucking cowboys. I didn't call them pirate. I was
Um,
thinking of the pirate ship. They do have a pirate ship
right.
there.
I will say we have one haunted house. It's called the Mortuary, and it's in an abandoned mortuary.
Oh, really?
It's
Damn.
I I don't think it's in the city itself, but yeah, it's a run. It's not run down, but it's an old mortuary they turned into a haunted house.
Ooh.
I might
Have you
have to
seen
go.
Wait, what?
I was
You
gonna
say
say
something?
that's one. If I might go next year if it's open and show everybody what it looks like.
Oh, you should.
Hmm.
I should go freaking to some of the haunted places in Oklahoma. What if I stayed in like the haunted scurvy or something for a night and I just filmed?
Wait. What's the haunted scurvy? What's that?
It's a hotel. It's called the Scurvy. It's downtown. It's haunted as fuck. And like all the politicians and stuff, like a lot of politicians stay there. But it's like everything's really old looking, like the carpets all like The Shining and stuff. It's just really
Right.
spooky. They have one of those old like elevators with like the little what is it? Like those weird little like the doors that open all weird. You know what
Oh, they
I'm talking
have like
about?
the wooden gate and then the metal gate, the metal
Yeah, like
doors, and
yeah, those weird like I don't even know what they call them.
yeah, I
But they're
don't
like
know the
kind of
name.
freaky. I don't think it runs anymore, but it's kind of creepy. It just sits there. Um, but there's like a bunch of ghosts at that place.
Hmm.
I mean,
Our,
I've been there before. I never stayed there. I just went in and like stole some orange juice and left.
ours is the Roosevelt Hotel. Has it's haunted and everything, but we do have in our capital city of Baton Rouge one of the top five haunted houses always on the list, and it's like called the 13th floor, the 13th gate, and the line's always like an hour wait. But my
Oh, really?
my middle son went there like a year or two ago, and he recommended it. But thing is, for me, I can't go around strobe light, so I gotta
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
I gotta watch.
I got the seizure issue too, so
All
I'm
right,
really.
so we have to be careful because that's the given that's going to be in any haunted house.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, now to our third and final story.
All right, I gotta go pee.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have to take over for a minute. I'm
I'll
drinking all
throw
the soda.
I'll throw some facts out to the people.
All right,
Okay,
BRB.
we have uh, for anybody who's ever heard of the band Pantera, the lead singer Phil Anselmo is from here in New Orleans, and one of my friends ran into him at the grocery store. You see him around. He opened the haunted house called the House of Shock, and it's closed now. I'm pretty sure it's still closed, but they put a lot of money into it. And I went once and ran into Scott Ian, the guitarist of Anthrax, in there. It literally gave somebody a heart attack, and they closed 1 year because it was just too much, and they had live bands in front. But it's one of those things where you can't have anything nice because there's always going to be a problem. But Phil really did a good job and put some money into it in an old warehouse under the bridge. I can literally I'm a stone's throw from it where I'm sitting right now. But yeah, so if anybody's heard of Pantera, good old Phil, uh, who started a band called Down. If you like that kind of music, Down's a good band. He opened the haunted house. So every Halloween, we in the horror community tell people, look around, listen, like check out what's in your area. Like we don't have any haunted hay rides close around here. We don't have any corn mazes close. I'd have to drive for maybe like an hour and a half just to get to a corn maze or a hay ride, haunted hay ride. So um, always, you know, check out who you might know from your horror community close or such. So there you go. And look who's back. Hello.
Hey,
I gave them some juicy information.
oh, you give them all the juicy deets.
Yeah. I'll tell you. You know the band Pantera, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lead singer Phil, who's from here. Actually, Max and one of my other friends ran into him in the grocery store. I am friends with his sister. She went to high school with where my ex-wife went and everything. He opened a haunted house called the House of Shock, and they put a lot of money into it, and it was around for a while. And then somebody had a heart attack in it. It was so good, and they
Oh
closed
my
it down.
goodness.
But I ran personally. I ran into physically like I ran into Scott Ian from Anthrax
Oh really?
because they would come and he was in makeup, but you could tell it was him. And we bumped him like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He said, "Hey." How's it going?" So I was telling them, pay attention around Halloween. What's around you is haunted because where I'm at, I'd have to drive an hour and a half to any corn maze or haunted hayride. There's none of that close. We have haunted
Mm-hmm.
houses, but and that was the best one. Now it's in Baton Rouge, but we, I've always wanted to do a corn maze and I haven't because there's not close. So you probably have those.
Uh, yeah, we have one nearby. You have to like sign a waiver though, so they could like touch you and stuff.
The funny story. This was a while back, but a lady got lost in one of the haunted corn mazes. She called 911, and when they found her, she was like 20 feet from the exit.
Are you
She
serious?
she just couldn't. I heard they give you a map, so in
Mm-hmm.
case you get lost. But she freaked out, called the police, and they're like, "Ma'am, all you got to do is go make a couple rights. She's like, she felt dumb, but it was funny. Like, oh, but yeah, the closest one
Oh,
to me is an hour and a half. So,
that's me, dude. I would get lost.
well, they get us. Like I said, I heard they hand you a map, but I've never been on that or haunted hayride because there's none close. And as a horror freak, I'm upset.
I don't know though. I don't know if I want people touching me and stuff though.
Well, they're not supposed to normally.
I
None of
mean,
them are
like, but
supposed
like
to.
those ones I was telling you, like you sign a waiver so they could like put their hands on you and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like I might knock somebody out or something.
When we were in high school, when as groups, some of the girls, like, if they happened to be touched and they weren't even trying, they kick that person hard. So
Hmm.
let them try. But for the most part, people are good around here.
No, yeah. I mean, I just I don't really like the idea of people like physically touching me and stuff like some like monster looking thing. I feel like I'll freak out. And
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give away a sneak preview here. There's an event when Halloween time comes around. I'm gonna do on my channel, and I want to do one with you, is a list of haunted houses in our towns and the top ones in the country, and give some
okay.
info and just stuff like that. But that's just I'll leave it at that sneak preview. So um, now to our third story, um, and this is for the movie Creep 3. Me and you discussed Creep
Hmm.
1, which came out in 2014, which it looks like we might review that. Um, the people who, and I think the first movie is just two people, and one of them's the guy who wrote and directed it, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken.
Yeah, Mark Duplass.
Um, yeah, he came out in an interview and said they've been literally like, we've been knocking around ideas, and the third one looks like it's in the works, but they're waiting on the right story to come along. Like they wrote two drafts and they didn't like it, but so my question to you is, after you said you've seen the first one, right?
I love it. I love the first and the second one.
Well, that's why we're gonna do it because I haven't yet. I was busy in 2014, but would you want to see a third one?
Yeah, I
Do you
want to see
think
the third
you
one.
think there's enough story to keep going?
Yeah, he's a freaking creep, dude. Like he can keep going if he don't
Well,
get busted. If he keeps like hiding and stuff. And
hey, don't spoil anything because I haven't seen it either. But I did
I'm
see the
not spoiling
trailer.
anything. I'm just saying he could
I know.
keep rolling.
I saw the trailer. I rewatched the trailers, and the first one's like, "Hey, come film me. I'm dying of cancer,"
Hmm.
and it looks like it goes awry. He has a cool wolf mask, but
Yep,
um,
it's Peach Fuzz.
the second one, it's still the same guy,
Hmm.
and I'm assuming if they're gonna make a third one, he's still alive.
Yeah, well, I don't want to give stuff away,
Okay,
but
that's no
something
good.
wild happened in the end in the
Okay.
second one. But I'll shut up.
Okay.
So.
Well, it seems they're knocking around ideas. So again, obviously things are not running right now in the movie industry, but
Hmm.
when everything comes back, we could get a Creep 3. So I thought that was some cool news. And then that gives us a way to say, hey, if anybody doesn't know about those, look out for us doing a Theater Thursday on at least the first one or the first two, and we'll do them together.
Um, no, I'd be down to like see a third one. Like
Okay.
I would love it. I mean,
And it looks
I
good.
love both of them. Like they're both really good. But I don't want to save it though because I don't want to talk about it too much because you gotta
I
watch them.
just I just want to know the first one. It's obviously found footage. Are they the second one's like that too?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, look at the Blair Witch. The second one was not. It came later, but
It feels like it's kind of a mixture or something.
okay.
It's sort of like
Um.
the sacrament. Remember
Oh,
how that
okay.
was kind
Yeah,
of
where
it
it
was like
is found
sort of
footage, but it's not handheld camera found footage
well,
looking.
some of it like she's filming, but then some of it's like like a
Yeah.
cameraman, like a movie, like I don't know.
No, I
It's
did hear that the second one they throw in a girl in the mix, so I do know
mhm.
that. But hey, that's why we're here because we're trying to throw movies we both seen or both haven't or people haven't seen because there's a lot of good movies out there. Just like our last one, Overlord. I knew about it, didn't see it, saw it, and was blown away. And
Mhm.
then we saw the Force and were disappointed. So you never know what you get.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think we got a lot of the same taste, so you'll probably like it too.
Well, it just depends.
We'll
Like
see, but I feel like you'll like it.
that's why we're here now. I will say, did you ever see or hear? There's a Michael Keaton movie called My Life.
Mm-mm.
It's literally the story like the first Creep, where he's gonna die of a disease, and he won't, and he films his life
Oh,
for
I
his
have seen
unborn
that.
child.
Yeah, okay,
And
yeah, I've seen that.
so when I saw the Creep trail, I'm like, wait, this is My Life horror movie, but obviously it's twists and turns because there's more than one. But
Oh
it's a
no,
great
it's way different, but yeah, like I've seen that.
great premise. But when he said, I'm dying of cancer and I want you to film, now this is all from the trailer, we're not spoiling anything, but
Yeah,
he says, I want you to film for my unborn kid. I'm like, hey, that's my life. But obviously, and I've seen the mask. He said it's called Fuzzy.
Peach Fuzz.
Mm, was close. Peach
There's
Fuzz,
Peach
but
Fuzz and then there's Baby Peach Fuzz.
baby Peach Fuzz.
It's
Okay.
like a little like stuffed wolf. Like I have a little stuffed wolf and I named it Baby Peach Fuzz. But yeah,
Okay.
he has like a little stuffed wolf and it's like that's Baby Peach Fuzz.
There's also a movie, and I just thought of it, and I'll bring it up now. There's a movie called The Collector, and its sequel's called The Collection. It's a horror movie. Have you seen it?
No, it sounds familiar though.
Yeah, it's a newer film, and it's got like Saw type traps in it. But we'll bring that up on another edition. But that's I've heard a lot of good things in the horror community about it, and I've never seen
Okay.
it yet. So,
Well, I'm
but
down to watch it.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and we take suggestions. So anybody
Yeah.
comment. Um, we might, if things pick up, a lot of people do Twitter polls. I'd like to throw some of that out where people can go on Twitter, find one of us, and we'll put up like 3 movies for us to do, and people can pick from that.
Yeah, and I mean we're on lockdown, so we got a lot of time to watch movies and stuff right now. So
Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and do a shameless plug for some of our up and coming stuff?
okay. Wait, do you want me to
Because
do it?
I can start if you want.
Okay, you start.
Okay,
You do it.
so we're filming this on Wednesday, right?
This, yeah, right now.
Okay, so at least one of us will post this by Friday. This Saturday, our spooky Saturday, we're going to be talking about the Little Shop of Horrors, and not just the Rick Moranis version. We're going to do the '60s, and we're going to talk all about it and everything in between.
Mhm.
And if I think it's, I've been writing down so much stuff for the backstory because we've all seen the movie. Always, you and I have.
Mhm.
I saw it in the movie theater when the sequel. I say sequel because the '60s, it's not the '80s is not a sequel to the '60s, but
Mhm.
it's pretty much a remake if you want to say that. But a lot of cool info and stuff I didn't even know I've learned over the last couple of days. So our spooky Saturday is Little Shop of Horrors, and then uh, me and Max on my channel, Colonel ChuBs, we're going to be doing an Easter spectacular for this Sunday about Watership Down. And I'm going to leave it at that because that's a crazy, crazy story
That's all
altogether.
on you guys. That's all on you, dog. Like,
Well, I don't even know how. Like, I was even thinking of doing it live on Sunday, and we just pop it up, but nobody watches us anyway. But um, it might happen. So just stay tuned. You'll
no,
hear it
but
on this
I
show.
watch. I watch your stuff, so I'm nobody now.
Well, no, that's not what I said.
I'm a
We,
nobody.
I'm at 68 subscribers. I'm waiting for that big 6-9, and we get like 20 views roughly. So I say nobody's watching is not that many people, but um, being everybody's on lockdown and it's Easter Sunday, we're trying to like do a combo because that movie is about rabbits, and I'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
consider it horror related because it's not for kids. There's
No,
blood.
it's horrifying. I think it's
No, I mean, and actually, I'll say this: John Hurt is one of the main rabbit voices who was in the first Aliens movie, the guy with the chest burster. That's John Hurt.
oh really?
Yeah, he does the voice of I forgot the name of the rabbit he does, but he's one of the main voices. And
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's interesting.
you see, everybody just look out for some like I'll try and figure out exactly what time and everything so I can if people watch our Saturday show, they'll hear about it. And then live or not, something will come out for good old Easter Sunday because tomorrow is the Passover,
Oh
starter
yeah.
Pass, and then Good
Oh,
Friday.
and we're gonna be working on a Tiger King episode too. There's a lot of weird stuff about these tiger people, so we're gonna be talking about them too.
That's going to be next Thursday,
Yeah, it's gonna be next Thursday. So
Theater Thursday. We're
yeah,
gonna we're gonna try and bring more info than you get normally because our beautiful host Hannah here happens to live in the area that Mr. Joe lived in, or he's still there, but he's not living.
he's
He's living
in prison.
somewhere. Put it
He's
that
behind
way. Yeah,
bars. You know.
right. But I never heard anybody even mention that he's from Oklahoma City.
Maybe we'll get an interview with him behind the bars.
Good luck. I don't. Well, that's why I was asking you, like, if his park was still there, but I'm taking it from what I hear, none of his stuff's still around, right?
I haven't finished the series yet,
Okay.
but I don't know. There's other people besides Joe Exotic on this well, it's a documentary show. There's other tiger people, and they're all pretty scammy. None of them seem like good people. Like these people are exploiting animals for money. But we're gonna get into all that. But yeah, Joe Exotic, he's from Oklahoma. He's from the same state as me, and he's just kind of been the laughing stock of
Ran for governor of your great state.
oh, he ran for president.
Well, yeah, that was a
But
long shot, but the fact that he even ran for he could have been your governor. You imagine?
oh, nobody wanted him. Nobody
Well,
like we don't like him here. He's just a joke. Like
good.
I said, he's a celebrity, but he's a joke celebrity. Like he's not a good person.
Oh yeah, celebrity doesn't mean good, but that's why they say infamous, not famous. He's infamous.
Yeah, he's infamous. Well, the Flaming Lips guy, he is from here, and I've hung out with him. He's a very nice guy. Um, I hung out with him at the Skeleton Fest festival like years ago, and he was very kind. He was very nice. But we love the Flaming Lips here.
Well, look at that. You have that. I told people that my friends ran into Phil Anselmo from Pantera because
Yeah.
I still talk to his sister on Facebook every once in a while, but she went to the sister school of my Catholic high school. So
Oh wow. Yeah, the Flaming Lips, they have a club here too. They have a club you
okay,
can go, and sometimes he's there, not often, but yeah, like they have a club. It got a giant like all-seeing eye on it, so spooky, you know.
sweet.
um
Well, you never know.
yeah.
Like I think the world's a strange place, but that's why we do things like tonight. I hope everybody enjoys horror news updates where we say horror news, but it could be any kind of news. Tonight we dwelled into like movie theater businesses in general, but the horror community is using certain horror movies like Candyman to judge like what's coming. But September for movies, which is going to back up the system, and who knows? So, but as always, keep I'm gonna keep an eye and an ear on what's going on to
hmm
bring everybody up to date what's going on. So I hope all this helps
Yeah.
in
Um,
our time of need.
do we plug everything?
I think so. Whenever you see this, just remember we're always gonna try and do a spooky Saturday, and it could be a million different topics. And we do
hmm
theater Thursday. I believe beautiful Hannah here does makeup Monday sometimes, so definitely stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, I got some stuff in the works for Monday, y'all.
There you go. And as always on our channel, we try and bring uh, I always like to say throughout space and time, like today, which as of Wednesday, the 8th of April, War Games, we talked about the trailer and the movie. Because when we were a kid, that came out, and it's funny to look at like computers the size of a room, and now you can hold your computer in your hand.
Oh yeah.
And oh, we got one coming out Friday on my channel. I'll just say it's a vampire movie from the 80s, so I'll leave it at that.
Ooh, I know what it is.
Yeah, you know because I told you,
I know.
uh,
I am not saying nothing.
but it's as you know, it's a good one that most people know. So,
Mhm. It's a
but
classic, y'all. So go to Chubb's channel for all the classics.
well, we do up to date stuff too sometimes. Like
Yeah.
we we did the like Wonder Woman 84 trailer
Mhm.
back in when that first popped, but that's because it was big news. Now all those are delayed too, so that movie's delayed in particular. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it because we do comic book stuff too on our channel because we're nerds. But you never know. We're gonna use those as like horror is a gauge. Like you can look at the movies coming out. Like the big one this year was supposed to be Halloween Kills in October, and now who knows?
mhm.
So
Um. Yeah. Well.
I, I'll keep us posted as we do, and we'll bring you the latest and greatest on horror news update.
All right. That was the horror news, y'all. I don't got nothing else to say.
Till next
So
time.
bye, y'all. Let me see if I hit the button the right way this time.